Lisa had always been the quiet force in the marketing department. She wasn't flashy, didn't boast on social media, and rarely took credit for the massive contributions she made to her team. But those who paid attention knew, if something succeeded, Lisa had a hand in it. Unfortunately, Jason, her boss, was not one of those people. Jason was the kind of manager who loved the spotlight. Loud, charismatic, and incredibly skilled at making himself look good, especially when it meant stepping over others. Lisa had watched for years as he rephrased her ideas in meetings and presented them as his own. He cut her off mid-sentence, talked over her in brainstorming sessions, and routinely gave promotions to less qualified men who had simply echoed his opinions. Lisa wasn't naive. She knew her gender played a role in how she was treated. She had worked twice as hard for half the recognition. But she had learned patience. She had learned to wait for the right moment. That moment came with the company's most important event of the year, the Global Expansion Conference. For months, Lisa had been working after hours on a groundbreaking data analysis that identified untapped international markets. She created models, did consumer research, forecasted potential ROI, and all without a single assistant or analyst. She built a presentation so strong, even the COO had complimented her during a preliminary review. Jason, as always, ignored her progress. A week before the conference, he asked her casually, "You still working on that market stuff?" Lisa nodded. Yes. The CEO asked for a live presentation. "I'll be going through the models on stage." Jason simply smirked. "Great. Let's keep it short and sweet." She had a strange feeling. Something was off. Then came the day of the conference. The room was filled with executives, board members, investors, and analysts from across the country. Lisa had never felt more nervous, but she was ready. Until Jason stood up first. He took the stage confidently and said, "Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick intro to the strategy Lisa will summarize for you. It's something I've been shaping for a while now, and I think you'll find it very insightful." Lisa sat frozen in her chair, the slides behind him, her slides, rebranded subtly, but still her content, her data, her research. Jason began rambling through a few high-level bullet points, clearly misunderstanding some of the data. Then, with a casual wave, he said, "Lisa will walk you through the numbers now." The crowd clapped politely. Lisa's hands were trembling as she took the microphone, but she didn't fall apart. She paused, took a breath, and then began to speak, not just with confidence, but with clarity and control. She didn't just explain her research, she owned it. Her voice was calm but firm, her explanations sharp, and her conclusions compelling. Midway through the presentation, she made a bold move. She addressed the CEO directly. This strategy was built entirely from 6 months of private consumer studies across 18 international markets, personally conducted and analysed. I'd love to hear your thoughts on which region you believe we should prioritise first. The CEO raised an eyebrow. "You ran all 18 studies yourself?" "Yes," Lisa said simply. Jason shifted uncomfortably behind her. By the end of the presentation, the audience was leaning in. There was no doubt who had done the work. The CEO approached her after and said, "Lisa, can you come by my office tomorrow?" "We need to talk." Jason was left standing alone. The next week, an internal announcement was sent out. Lisa was being promoted to Director of Global Strategy. Her own team, her own budget, her own staff. Jason wasn't demoted, but he was now reporting to her. He didn't say a word when they passed each other in the hallway. He didn't have to. Everyone knew. Lisa hadn't just survived the humiliation, she'd turned it into her greatest victory.